If you're planning on day hiking the Rocky Mountain National Park, these are my 5 top tips you should know before you hit the trailhead. My name is Dennis, and if you're a beginner or intermediate hiker, Rocky Mountain National Park has a bit for everybody. If you're doing anything 3+ miles for the day, up to maybe even 15, these are things you should consider before you hit the trail. Tip number 5, plan your hikes but have a backup. A lot of times you can get to the park and either the parking lot is full and you need to find another way to that trailhead, or maybe even that entrance to the park is closed and you have to find a way around. So have a plan, but have a backup. Also keep in mind that Rocky Mountain National Park is a living, breathing mountain. That means certain trails could just not exist anymore due to rock slides, or it could be inundated with snow or water depending on the season that you're there. Tip number 4, bring enough food and water for the day you're hiking and one more. You never know when something can happen, and you never know when you're gonna get hungry or thirsty. I personally carry a hydration pack and an Nalgene full of water and pre-workout. If you're getting to the trailhead early, which I'll get to that in a second, you'll probably want some caffeine. I usually carry my Nalgene with water and 3 scoops of something like this, and that worked out pretty well. That little caffeine jolt in the morning or mid-hike when you're starting to get a little tired works fantastic. And as far as food, I like to carry a protein bar, something like the Big 100 Colossal, or Colossal Big 100s, whatever they're called. Absolutely fantastic. I'm also a fat kid, so I think they're incredible. And one thing you'll see a lot is people who only come with a single water bottle or just fresh shoes, and you're thinking, how could they possibly be doing this? It doesn't make any sense. Here I am with all this gear. Am I that bad at this? And the thing is, no. Those people, some may be professional trail hikers or trail runners, and sure, they know what they're doing, they live there, they do it all the time, but everybody else, probably not. It only takes a couple situations that almost went sideways really quickly for you to learn, hey, I need to have more water, hey, I need to have the right gear, hey, I need to have stuff for fire in case I get stuck on here, hey, this map is not the right map, it's not the scale. And those are some very terrifying moments if you've never been to them, and I hope you never do. So just come prepared. It's better to have more gear and not need it, and then start slimming down based on your skill levels, than to need something like extra water and not have it. So just come prepared. Tip number 3, bring the right gear. If you're advanced or intermediate, you might be thinking, I already have everything I need, I know what I'm doing. But there's a lot of times where we get put in situations that we weren't prepared for. Rocky Mountain National Park is a living, breathing mountain range. Changes in elevation are going to change from hot to cold and cold to hot, and it happens really fast. And the weather can also change at the drop of a hat. One of my hikes got canceled because we were going to be mid-hike at a time when a storm was going to roll in. And up in the Alpine region, you don't want to be cold and wet because those are 2 perfect key factors for hypothermia. And that's really not something you want to experience. So come prepared with layers and jackets and at least something for rain gear. Tip number 2, work out. I know this sounds really silly, but you want to make sure you're in good cardio shape and good physical fitness, because there's a lot of times you're hiking the trail and you have to go up steep levels, or a lot of step ups, hike, squat type movements. So make sure you're doing those before you even go out there, just in your natural daily life. You don't necessarily need to have crazy cardio, but you do have to do some cardio. Just be aware that the elevation is gonna get you. It was very often that after about 100 yards of elevation gain, I'd have to stop for 10-15 seconds just to catch my breath. And I'm in decent shape. It happens. Especially if you're from the East Coast where everything's basically flat, any elevation can kill you. Well, not kill you, but it'll get to you. And at some of the highest peaks, I think it was 12,000 feet. That's substantial. That is substantial. Denver, I think, is at 5,000 feet. I don't know, fact check me. But yes, just be aware it's gonna happen. You're gonna be tired. Don't tell yourself like, man, I'm really out of shape, unless you really are, in which case you'll know. My number 1 tip is arrive before dawn for a multitude of reasons. The first reason is you're gonna have much greater access to parking, especially if you're going to the trails that come off of Bear Lake. Now, Bear Lake is an easy trail, and I don't really recommend it because, one, it's not a challenge and there's just tons of people, but you're gonna have to access the trailheads going to Bear Lake. Get there before dawn, you're gonna have a much greater chance of getting on those trails. Before dawn, I'm talking 4:35 at the trailhead in the morning. You're gonna need a headlamp, so pack that and be prepared. The second reason for getting there early is you avoid the crowds. Around 10 or 11 is when everybody starts showing up at the park because they're on vacation and like, oh, we slept in a little bit. The park gets crazy, the trails start to get really crowded, and you just want to avoid that, especially if you're there for the hike and the beauty of the landscape. And the third reason, the park is a majestic landscape. Like, no picture that I took could capture the awe that I experienced. But getting there before the sun rises and getting that sunrise as you're hiking is just, it's absolutely magical. I still can't believe the things that I saw because they didn't seem real. And seeing them at sunrise is just, it's incredible. For example, if you get to Sky Pond and where the waterfall is, it's as the sun rises and starts to hit that part, it's magical. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you get there before dawn. And the fourth reason, which is my least favorite, but it is something we should consider, is it'll save you some money. The park opens later in the day, so if you get there before the park opens, you don't technically have to pay the entry fee or have the reservations for things like Barrett Lake. But you do have to consider the fact that there could be road closures and you may have to go out and come around a different way because the park's not open. So keep that in mind. But those are my 5 top tips for day hiking Rocky Mountain National Park. If you have some others, let me know down below in the comments. Until next time, check out this video and happy hiking.